Living in a post-Hunger Games world, it's getting more and more difficult to tell young adult movies apart. That's especially the case for The Maze Runner, based on James Dashner's trilogy of novels. The film follows Thomas, played by Dylan O'Brien, a young man who wakes up to find himself in a community of other guys welcoming him to the Glade, a large expanse of land surrounded by a concrete maze. Thomas and his cohorts have no memory of their past lives or where they are. All they know is they have to get out. And that's about the extent of Maze Runner's originality, before it falls prey to tropes made popular by young adult dystopian fiction. A milquetoast lead whose destiny overrides any semblance of personality, a dignified villain, and side characters with inexplicably weird names.
My name is Albie.
Basically, the first half hour is a giant info dump where Thomas gets to know the other guys and the ins and outs of the maze, including the robot-like monsters called Grievers, and the runners, who run the maze by day in search of a way out. Eventually, Thomas becomes a runner and, surprise, surprise, makes discoveries that could lead the boys to freedom. Adding a wrench in their plans, the powers that be send the first girl to the Glade, Teresa, played by Kaya Scaladario, which spurs Thomas to double his efforts. In terms of acting, The Maze Runner is actually pretty well cast. Unfortunately, the weak link of the group is O'Brien. As Thomas, he's entirely bland and lacks the screen presence to pull off a good protagonist. Scaladario is also pretty unconvincing as Teresa, but that's more to do with her poorly feigned American accent and woefully underdeveloped character. Really, the best parts of Maze Runner are the maze itself. Coming from a visual effects background, first-time director Wes Ball has a good eye for sublime imagery and fast-paced action. No question, Ball is a solid director and artist, so it's a shame that he's tied to such underwhelming source material. Similar to other recent YA entries like The Giver and Divergent, The Maze Runner doesn't quite come into its own, relying mostly on sci-fi tropes to tell a conventional story. While Ball's direction is confident, the movie itself doesn't really pick up steam until halfway through the movie. By that point, the story shifts into setup for a sequel, which doesn't help matters. For more movie reviews, keep it locked to IGN.
Hey! Stop this now!